So where are current interest rates today? I'll answer that question in a minute. I'm Debbie Indihar Giordano of Master Brokers. Welcome to my weekly update. We're well into the month of July. Summer is passing us by really quick. Hope you're having a good vacation, time off with your families, and enjoying some time with your children. So interest rates, 6.75 for a 30-year fixed conforming, 6.125 for a 15-year fixed conforming, 6.625 for a 30-year fixed jumbo, and 6.25 for a 15-year fixed jumbo. So they're up a little bit this week, just a little bit. As you know, there's been some more unrest in the Iranian war. There's been a halt to the ceasefire. So the bombs are beginning again, and it's not a good sign, but hopefully that situation can get arm wrestled and get that under control so we can keep oil prices in flux and keep the inflation under control. So speaking of inflation, I'd like to talk about where the current average home prices have run in Milpitas. And looking at the June 2026 report from the Santa Clara County Board of Realtors, we're doing quite well for our average home price. It's $1,705,000. The median price is 1.8. So what I'm seeing is less sales. The inventory is a little less, but pricing is still good and kind of holding. So if a property in Milpitas is priced well, it's in great condition, and it's in a good location with good schools, where most of the properties in Milpitas are in good schools, you should be able to get a great attractive price for your home. So if you're considering moving out, don't be worried about this market. It's still a very good market for the Milpitas homeowners. And then townhomes, which are attached units, they're at $1,023,000 for an average price, and $1,002,000 for a median price. So those are holding pretty steady, not have gone up too much. And the other bit of information I want to share with you is average days on market. In June of last month, we had a 12 days on market median. So that's excellent for pricing. And about 104% of the list price was received for a final sale. So we only had 17 closed sales, and typically that is down. We usually run about 20 to 25 sales, so there are less sales. Okay, let's talk about another interesting topic that I'd like to bring to you about your yard maintenance. So as the weather warms up, many homeowners are eager to get outside and start mowing, but a great looking lawn throughout the spring and summer depends on more than just a regular cut. In fact, some of the most important steps for a healthy yard are the ones most often overlooked. One of the biggest mistakes homeowners make is mowing the lawn too short. That's one thing. Another commonly missed step is maintaining your mower. It has to be sharp blades and a nice cut for the lawn, otherwise they'll brown on top. Spring is also the ideal time to feed your lawn. I still have a lawn in my front yard, and once a year I have a company that comes out and aerates it and fertilizes it, because a lot of times the soil gets compacted and then the water runs off as opposed to soaking into the soil. Garden beds have to be looked at, and landscaping often gets overlooked. Those are quite interesting topics when I go to prep a home and get it ready for sale. I really like to have a green lawn in front. I like to have the flower beds tuned up and some fresh flowers in there, getting some color, and the yard's trimmed. I think it's a very important feature that a lot of potential sellers overlook because they're looking at the inside of the house. But definitely the outside is very important. The key to yard care, though, is getting ahead of the issues, according to this article, before they become bigger. And more expensive problems. But focusing on often overlooked tasks, homeowners can have a greener, happier lawn and a much nicer looking home. All right, one last topic, and then we'll dive into inventory over the weekend. How to beat the heat without AC. So a lot of you folks don't have AC. In fact, I think it's only half. What is the statistics? I think it's only half of the homeowners actually have AC. You know, we don't need that around our area as much as some of the other homes in the other areas throughout the country. But enhancing ventilation by opening windows when it's cooler outside certainly is one way to cool your home down. Optimizing fan usage. I love homes that have the overhead fans in each of the rooms, and you can turn those on as opposed to the AC to circulate the air and keep things cool. And then finally, strategic use of trees for landscaping to produce shade on your home. So those are 3 effective strategies to keep your home cooler without the expensive use of AC. All right, open house. So I had 1865 Big Bend Drive open over the weekend. That's that 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Parktown. Nice home, a great neighborhood. It's in the Senate Elementary School, and it's priced, as you know, remember last week we brought it down $50,000. So it was priced over the weekend at a better price of $1,548,888. I had 12 families through on Saturday and another 10 families through on Sunday. And I think this was interesting. It's actually our 4th weekend on this property, and to see that much traffic come through with about 21 days on market, I think shows the integrity that there's a lot of buyers out there looking. They're shopping very strategically. They know what they want. This particular home is a little smaller on the square footage size. It's 1,249 square feet, but it certainly is a good value for that neighborhood. So we'll see how that one goes. And then I also had 453 Taylor Drive in Milpitas open on Sunday. That is a 5-bedroom, 2-bath. It's in Sunny Hills. It's priced at $1,650,000. And I'll tell you a little backstory about that one. It is in contract. It's called a contingency contract. Buyers are still in the process of getting final loan approval. Last week they got conditional loan approval, which is good, from the bank, but there's some conditions that need to be met in terms of getting the final loan approval this week. One of the borrowers is self-employed, so he needed something from a CPA and the tax IRS. The wife is fully employed. She's a nurse, so that was no issue at all. So it's a little difficult with self-employed buyers. There's more hoops that they have to go through, but they're certainly well qualified. So we hope to get that one closed and wrapped up by the end of the week. But in the meantime, I opted to have the open house yesterday, Sunday, to look for any backup buyers in the event that this property may fall through, and then we have to put the property back on the market. So I work pretty proactively for the seller in any kind of condition. So I thought that this was important, and the seller felt very confident that I put in the work needed to be done to helpfully get this one closed, or maybe a potential backup offer for that home. So real excited. I met sellers yesterday at 1662 Everglades Drive in Milpitas. That's also in Parktown. It's a block away from the property on Big Bend Drive. This is also in the Senate Elementary School. This is going to be a complete remodel. I am not one to advocate doing any remodeling and updating prior to selling, because a lot of the buyers, they love to have a blank slate and put in what they want. So we're going to price this one very aggressively. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,116 square feet, and I'm going to price it at $1,198,888. So it's going to be very attractive. The sellers are finishing up clearing out the house. The family is there. It's the brother's home, and so the family's there to support him. He's in long-term care at this situation, so he won't be moving back into the home, but we're going to clear it out and I'll clean it, get a professional clean, and then I'm just going to let it go and probably do a 1-weekend open house and do offers on that one. So look for that one to come on board. And then I've been talking about for months 1750 Tahoe Drive in Milpitas, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. In Parktown, 1,504 square feet. The seller just got into contract over the weekend for their new home that they're buying in North Carolina. So we're going to probably get this one going pretty quickly and maybe get it ready to show. So that price is $1,750,000. That's a great property. And then I always talk about 1464 Etzel Drive in Milpitas. That's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath. That seller is getting final permits with the city of Milpitas. As you know, working with the city, it's a long process. So she and I talked at the beginning of the year, and we were hoping to have the home on the market sooner, but hopefully that's coming up soon. And then the seller, 390 Monmouth Drive in Milpitas, 5-bedroom, 3-bath. She called me last week. So they're still anxiously working hard with the family and getting that home cleared out. And price point on that is $1.7 million. So there you have it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, give me a call, 408-945-8988, or Giordano DJ, at AOL.com is my email address. DebbieGiordano.com is my website. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the week. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.